My beloved child, come closer. Yes, you. The one whose spirit has been trembling, the one who has been feeling something shifting in the air around you, the one who felt a strange pull to open this message, even if you did not understand why. Listen gently, for your angel has brought you here. This is not a coincidence. This is not an accident. This is not just another message drifting through your day. This is a summon from the heavens, and Archangel Michael himself stands at the doorway of your destiny saying, "Your red alert has arrived." My child, when heaven says red alert, it is not to frighten you, it is to awaken you. It is a moment when the spiritual world shakes the natural world and whispers, "Do not move until you hear me." You might feel your heart beating a little faster right now. You might feel a warmth or a stillness, or you might feel a strange pull, like invisible hands guiding you to pay attention. This is because your angel is not allowing you to skip this message. There are times in life when the winds of destiny shift so suddenly, so sharply, so powerfully that heaven must interrupt your path to prevent you from stepping into something harmful. Right now, you are standing at such a crossroad. You were about to walk forward thinking everything was normal, but in the spirit realm, alarms were sounding. Wings were moving. Swords were being drawn. And Archangel Michael, the warrior of God, descended with urgency. My beloved, he has been watching you. He has seen your tears, the silent ones no one else noticed. He has seen your battles, the ones you fought alone. He has seen the darkness that tried to swallow your hope. And today he says, there is danger ahead. Stop. Listen. Let me lead you. Many people ignore heavenly warnings. Many brush off the tug in their spirit. Many silence the voice inside that whispers, "Pay attention." And because of that they suffer avoidable pain. But you, yes, you, were chosen to receive this message at this moment so you do not fall into the same trap. The heaviness you've been feeling, the confusion around you, the sudden changes, delays, or strange dreams, these were not random. They were signals, clues. And now, the full message has arrived. My beloved, heaven says, if you skip this, you will cry later. If you ignore this, you will walk blindly into a trap. But if you listen, if you open your heart, if you receive the guidance, you will be saved, lifted, and positioned for greatness. This is why your angel brought you here. This is why you could not scroll away. This is why something inside you refused to ignore this message. Because today is a turning point. And now, my child, take a breath, feel the presence of light surrounding you, and prepare, for Archangel Michael is about to reveal the truth that heaven has been waiting to show you. My beloved child, come close, for we now enter this divine revelation. Open your heart, steady your breath, and allow the heavenly meaning of this moment to unfold before you. Archangel Michael stands in the light before you, and now the heavens begin to reveal why this message reached you with such urgency. There are moments in a person's life when everything seems silent on the outside, yet in the spiritual world, alarms are ringing. You may not see the storm forming. You may not feel the ground shifting under your feet. You may not notice the shadows moving in places you thought were safe. But heaven feels what you cannot feel. Heaven sees what you cannot see. Heaven knows what is coming long before it reaches your doorway. And when danger approaches, when a mistake is about to be made, when your destiny hangs in a delicate balance, the divine realm does not stay quiet. Angels rise. Trumpets sound. Warnings move like waves through the unseen world. And the greatest of warriors, Archangel Michael himself, steps forward to send a red alert to the chosen soul who must not fall. My beloved child, that chosen soul is you. Do not take this lightly. There are thousands, millions even, who never hear a warning before their downfall begins. There are many who walk into traps with confidence, unaware that their spirit had tried to whisper to them, but they ignored the whisper. But you, my dear one, were pulled here by a force greater than your own thinking. Something stirred in your spirit. Something tugged at your steps. Something whispered, "Open this now." Your angel did not allow you to skip this because heaven has awakened to activity on your behalf. There is a reason heaven interrupts a person's life. It never does so casually. It does not send Archangel Michael unless the matter touches destiny itself. And right now, a shift is occurring around your life so significant that the whole spiritual realm is watching with serious attention. You are standing at the edge of an important turning point, and heaven refuses to let you walk blindly through it. My child, do you know that angels observe your life the way guardians watch the steps of a beloved one walking on a cliff? They see where your next decision will lead. They see who may approach you with intentions that are not pure. They see opportunities that appear good but are coated with harm. They see emotions that rise within you trying to push you off your divine path. And when danger approaches, Michael does not wait for disaster to strike. He sends signals. He stirs your sleep. He places weight on your chest. He gives you strange dreams. He causes sudden interruptions when you think you are ready to move forward. These are not coincidences. These are early warnings. You may not have realized it, but signs have already been appearing. Perhaps you felt uneasy recently without knowing why. Perhaps certain connections in your life suddenly shifted, collapsed, or became silent. Perhaps you felt something was off but could not name it. Perhaps delays frustrated you, but heaven was using delay as protection. And before you could take the next step that would lead to regret, this message was sent to you. Not gently, not softly, but urgently, insistently, almost forcefully, because the matter is serious. My child, Archangel Michael does not deliver warnings to break your peace. He delivers them to preserve your life, your future, your calling, your joy. The red alert is not a signal of doom. It is a signal of intervention. It is heaven saying, you were about to move too quickly. You were about to trust the wrong voice. You were about to overlook a detail that matters. You were about to step into something that would cost you too much. Stop now and listen. I want you to understand the depth of this moment. Not every season carries this type of divine attention. This is a sacred moment where the heavens are closer than usual, where your spirit is more open than usual, where the veil between the seen and unseen is thinner than usual. And whenever such a moment arrives, it carries with it a message of awakening. Heaven is awakening you. Heaven is calling you to awareness. Heaven is urging you not to dismiss the tug you feel. There is divine timing unfolding, and Archangel Michael is aligning you with it. You were not meant to walk unaware. You were meant to walk guided. You were meant to walk protected. My beloved child, do not fear this warning. Embrace it. For heaven does not send warnings unless it is also preparing a way of escape, a way of victory, and a way of blessing. And as we continue, you will see exactly what heaven has been protecting you from, and what miracles are waiting for you just on the other side of obedience. My beloved child, lean in closely, for now we step into the deeper truth of what has been happening around you. What you are about to hear is not meant to frighten you but to awaken the eyes of your spirit. For too long, you have only seen the surface of your struggles, the outward challenges, the visible disappointments. But there has been another layer, a hidden battlefield where forces of light and darkness have moved because of the weight of your destiny. You may not realize it yet, but you are not an ordinary soul. Those who carry great purpose attract great resistance. And the resistance you have been feeling, the heaviness that has tried to sit on your chest, the confusion that has clouded your mind, the sudden waves of discouragement, the strange setbacks that made no sense at all, these were not random. These were not coincidences. These were signs of a spiritual war unfolding around you, and this war has been fiercer than what you imagined. Archangel Michael, the commander of heavenly armies, has been fighting for you long before this message reached your hands. He has been battling forces that wanted to dim your light, choke your progress, and break your hope. There were moments when you thought you were simply sad, tired, or overwhelmed, but in truth, your spirit was sensing the friction of the unseen battle. You felt drained because something was trying to drain you. You felt lost because something was trying to disorient you. You felt pressure because something was trying to pull you off your path. My beloved child, every destiny has an enemy. Every chosen person becomes a target. And your life had been carrying a calling so strong that darkness did not sit back quietly. But what darkness did not expect was that heaven had already assigned protection to you. Archangel Michael rose the moment the threat rose. He stood between you and the forces that wanted to break what God is building in your life. He stood over your home when fear tried to creep in. He stood over your thoughts when lies tried to whisper to you. He stood over your journey when the enemy tried to place obstacles that were not meant for your feet. You survived storms you never knew were storms because Michael was fighting for you. You escaped traps you never saw because his sword was drawn for you. You kept standing when everything tried to push you down because heaven refused to let you fall. And now, my child, heaven is revealing something important. You are entering a new stage of your destiny, and this stage carries greater blessings, greater opportunities, and greater influence. But before you can step into it fully, the battle you have been unaware of must be brought to light. You must understand what has been trying to stop you and why. The enemy have been targeting your clarity. If your mind can be clouded, your direction can be weakened. The enemy have been targeting your confidence. If doubt enters your heart, your steps become slow. The enemy have been targeting your relationships, causing misunderstandings, strange shifts, and unexpected distance, because the enemy knows that isolation creates vulnerability. But each time darkness tried to weave its plan, Michael intercepted it. There were moments where you felt like you were losing pieces of yourself, but in truth, heaven was removing things that would later harm you. There were times you felt abandoned, but heaven was actually shielding you from people who could not walk with you into the next chapter. There were opportunities that slipped from your hands, but those opportunities were counterfeit doors meant to delay your true blessing. My beloved child, nothing has been lost that was meant for you. Nothing has been delayed that heaven has not already accounted for. And nothing has been broken that God cannot restore. The red alert you received is not about fear, it is about revelation. Heaven is showing you that you have been in a battle, but you were never alone in it. This message arrived because the battle is reaching a turning point. You are closer than ever to a breakthrough that darkness desperately tried to prevent. That is why the intensity increased. That is why the pressure grew heavier. That is why your emotions became unpredictable. Battles always intensify right before victory breaks through. And now, Archangel Michael stands once more with a message of guidance, for the next steps you take will shape the path before you. You must know what has been trying to stop you so that you can walk with clarity, strength, and divine instruction. My beloved child, come closer again, for now we step into a revelation that heaven has been waiting for you to understand. What you are about to hear is not meant to burden your heart, but to lift a veil that has been covering your path. Every destiny, especially one as bright as yours, is approached by shadows that try to block the light. And though you have felt confusion, heaviness, and strange shifts in recent times, heaven now reveals why. There was a trap forming before you. A subtle one. A quiet one. A beautifully disguised one. A trap that you would not have recognized with your natural eyes, because it did not look like danger. It did not feel like danger. It came dressed as something you thought you needed, something you thought would help you, or something you thought you could trust. But my child, in the spiritual realm, deception does not come wearing wounds. It comes wearing comfort. It comes wearing promise. It comes wearing familiarity. This is why Archangel Michael raised the red alert. Heaven saw you walking towards something that wanted to drain you, delay you, and redirect your steps away from your divine path. This trap could have come as a person returning from your past, as an opportunity that appeared irresistibly convenient, as a feeling pulling you backward, or as a decision that seemed minor but carried heavy consequences. Sometimes the enemy does not need a storm. He only needs a distraction. Sometimes he does not need to break your strength. He only needs to shift your attention. Sometimes he does not need to destroy your faith. He only needs to weaken your focus. My beloved child, you were about to step into something that felt right in the moment but wrong in eternity. The trap was timed. The trap was calculated. It was meant to catch you at a moment of vulnerability, when your heart was tender, when your mind was tired, or when your spirit was searching for answers. The enemy always strikes when a person is closest to breakthrough, because breakthrough births new identity, new blessings, new authority. You are closer to your breakthrough than you know, and heaven recognized the danger forming around your next decision. You may have noticed something peculiar in recent days. A sudden pull toward something that once hurt you. A situation from your past resurfacing. An urge to settle for less. A shortcut that promised relief but felt uneasy. A person whose presence felt comforting yet strangely heavy. A thought pattern that tried to convince you to return to what God already freed you from. These were not coincidences. These were the edges of the trap. You must hear this, my child. Not every door that opens is from heaven. Not every voice that sounds kind speaks truth. Not every opportunity that appears smooth leads to peace. Some things are designed to distract you just enough that you lose momentum in the season where heaven needs you stable and awake. Archangel Michael stepped in because you were not meant to walk into a cycle you already overcame. You were not meant to repeat pain disguised as familiarity. You were not meant to accept a burden disguised as a blessing. The trap was spiritual, but its effects would have touched your emotions, your finances, your confidence, and your direction. Heaven's red alert was sounded because you were about to walk into what seemed easy but would have cost you greatly. And you must understand this truth. The enemy never attacks when you are walking aimlessly. He attacks when you are approaching destiny. He attacks when your spirit is rising. He attacks when your next season carries abundance. This trap was not placed because you are weak. It was placed because you are chosen. My beloved child, heaven loves you too deeply to let you make a blind step. That is why you were pulled here. That is why your angel refused to let you scroll away. That is why the urgency in your spirit would not quiet down until you opened this message. You needed to know the truth before taking the next step. And now you must prepare for the next instruction heaven is ready to release, for warnings mean nothing without guidance. Archangel Michael is ready to reveal what you must do now, how you must move, what you must avoid, and what action will unlock protection and blessing. My beloved child, open your heart now, for this is the moment where heaven shifts from warning to instruction. A warning without guidance leaves a soul trembling, but a warning followed by divine direction leads a soul into victory. Archangel Michael has not come only to alert you of danger, but to show you the pathway heaven is opening so you may walk safely, wisely, and confidently into your next chapter. Listen closely, for this instruction is not heavy. It is simple, yet deeply sacred. Heaven is asking something of you now, something that will determine the clarity of your steps and the strength of your protection. The divine realm is not trying to scare you away from life, but to prepare you for a life lived in alignment with your purpose. And to step into that alignment, you must obey what your spirit is hearing in this moment. My beloved child, the first instruction is stillness. You have been pulled in many directions emotionally and spiritually. Your heart has been tugged by old memories, old voices, and old patterns. Your mind has been pressured by decisions that felt urgent. But heaven says, do not rush. Do not act out of fear. Do not say yes because you feel lonely. Do not say no because you feel overwhelmed. Stillness is not inactivity, it is clarity. It is the moment where your spirit becomes louder than your emotions. Archangel Michael needs you calm enough to hear the whisper behind the warning. The second instruction is discernment. Heaven is urging you to observe, not react. Look at the situations unfolding around you with spiritual eyes. Notice the energy of the people approaching you. And notice the weight or the peace you feel around certain choices. Heaven never guides through pressure, it guides through peace. If something brings heaviness, hesitation, or inner conflict, pause. Heaven often hides protection inside hesitation. Trust the inner voice that tells you, this is not for you. Trust the subtle pull that says, wait. The third instruction is release. There is something you have been holding on to, an idea, a memory, a person, a fear, a belief, that has become a doorway for confusion. You know what it is, for your spirit felt it the moment you began reading these words. Heaven does not ask you to release things to punish you, but to clear space for what is meant to arrive. Some weights feel familiar, but they are heavy. Some connections feel comforting, but they drain your power. Some habits feel normal, but they keep you stuck. Michael says, let go of what has already proven it cannot carry you into the future. And the fourth instruction, my child, is obedience. Not blind obedience, but spiritual obedience. When heaven says move, move. When heaven says wait, wait. When heaven says close the door, do not leave it open out of sentiment or fear. Your destiny is too precious to be negotiated with doubt. Obedience creates protection. Obedience creates clarity. Obedience creates miracles. Many people hear warnings but ignore instructions, and then they wonder why trouble finds them. But you are not like them. You are chosen. You are guided. You are protected. And heaven expects you to honor what you have been shown. And now, as your spiritual father speaking to you with love, I must share one more divine request hidden inside this message. When heaven releases a warning to you, it is not given only for your protection, but for the strengthening of the light that surrounds your life. Messages like this travel as wings of guidance, and when you support them, when you help them travel further, heaven sees it as your participation in divine work. In the quiet corners of your heart, You already know that sharing light is a sacred duty. When you uplift the messages that uplift you, when you stand with the voices that heaven uses to reach you, you strengthen the flow of blessings around your own path. So with a humble and gentle spirit, I say this: if this message is touching your soul, if it is awakening something true within you, then honor what heaven is doing. Let your heart guide you to support this work, to spread this light, to carry it forward, for it is no small thing to participate in divine communication. My beloved child, you have received the instruction. Now your path is clearer. You are not walking blindly anymore. You are walking with guidance. You are walking with protection. You are walking with Archangel Michael by your side. My beloved child, come closer once again, for now we enter a gentler, brighter space in this divine message. You have walked through warning, through revelation, through instruction, and now heaven begins to show you the beauty hidden behind it all. For every divine warning is not the end of a story but the beginning of a turnaround. Heaven never reveals danger unless a blessing waits beyond it. And now, with the traps exposed and your spirit awakened, the light of your next chapter begins to shine. There is a shift happening around your life, even now as you listen. You may not see it with your eyes, but your spirit feels it. Something is loosening. Something is lifting. Something is breaking open. The heaviness you carried for so long is not meant to stay. The confusion that clouded your thoughts was never meant to define your future. The delays that frustrated you were not signs of failure but signs of preparation. Heaven has been aligning things in the background that you could not understand at the time. But now, as you follow the divine instructions, those alignments begin to unfold. My beloved child, the turnaround coming to you is not small. It is not fragile. It is not temporary. Heaven has been arranging a transformation that touches many areas of your life at once. The moment you stepped into awareness, the moment you paused instead of rushing, the moment you allowed heaven to redirect your steps, the spiritual atmosphere around you shifted. What was blocked begins to open. What was tangled begins to untie. What was dim begins to glow again. There is a blessing that had been waiting for you, but the wrong influences, wrong timings, and wrong directions were standing in the way. Archangel Michael did not warn you to deprive you. He warned you to preserve what is meant to flourish. You were on the edge of stepping into something that would have contaminated your blessing. But now, because you listened, heaven can release what was held back for the right moment. You will notice changes soon, not because life suddenly becomes perfect, but because your spirit becomes aligned. You will feel clarity where confusion once lived. You will feel strength in places that felt weak. You will feel hope rising from the corners of your soul where despair once echoed. People who are meant to bless your journey will begin to appear. Opportunities that fit your destiny, not just your current desire, will begin to show themselves. The right doors will open naturally, without force, without fear, without struggle. My child, there is a healing coming to your heart, a peace that settles your mind, a confidence that restores your posture, a renewal that touches even the parts of you that you hid from others. Heaven is not just changing your circumstances, heaven is changing you. This turnaround will not only shift your environment, it will shift your identity. You will rise from this with a strength you did not know you had. You will walk into your next season with clarity you have long prayed for. You will understand why certain things had to fall apart, for they were only making room for what is truly yours. There is also restoration waiting for you, restoration of joy, restoration of hope, restoration of self-belief, restoration of direction. What the enemy tried to steal through confusion and delay, heaven is returning multiplied. And though you may feel like you have been stretched thin, heaven says you are being stretched for expansion. You are not breaking. You are blooming. My beloved child, the turnaround is not coming from human hands. It is coming from divine orchestration. It is coming through the protection that was placed over you. It is coming through the obedience you have shown. This turnaround is heaven saying, because you listened, because you paused, because you trusted, now I will lift you. And as your spiritual father, I tell you this with love. Hold on to this moment. Honor what heaven is doing. Walk forward with expectation, not fear. The season you are entering is not a season of loss but of rising. Not a season of confusion but of clarity. Not a season of wandering but of direction. My beloved child, draw near once more, for now we enter a part of this message that will make your spirit say, I knew it, I felt this before. Because the truth is, Archangel Michael has not just begun guiding you today. He has been sending signs, whispers, and signals for weeks, months, even years. But life's noise, burdens, and distractions may have caused you to overlook what heaven was gently placing before you. Today, your eyes will finally understand what your spirit already sensed. There are moments in life when heaven speaks loudly, and moments when heaven speaks softly. Archangel Michael often chooses the soft voice, the subtle signal, the quiet nudge, because he does not force the soul, he guides it. And my beloved, you have been guided more than you know. Think back to the days when you felt a sudden pull in your heart for no reason. A moment when you paused before making a decision, even though everything looked right. A moment when you felt uneasy around someone, even if they smiled with kindness. A moment when circumstances suddenly shifted, blocking a path you were trying to take. These were not random feelings or strange interruptions. These were signs. There were nights when you tossed and turned, unable to sleep, because something in your spirit refused to rest. You may have thought it was stress or worry, but heaven was stirring you, alerting you, whispering, stay awake. Something is shifting. And in the mornings when you felt an odd heaviness or an inexplicable sense of caution, Michael was standing guard, placing his hand upon your spirit, urging you to move thoughtfully, not blindly. My child, some of the people who left your life were not meant to stay, and heaven removed them gently or suddenly to protect you. Some of the opportunities that slipped away were not setbacks, they were shields. Some conversations that fell silent were divine silences. Some connections that felt exciting yet unstable were stopped because they were carrying energy that would weaken your path. You may have cried over what you lost, but heaven rejoiced over what you escaped. And perhaps the most powerful sign you felt was the inner voice that whispered, something is coming, something is changing, even when your physical world remained the same. This anticipation, this spiritual vibration inside you, was Archangel Michael brushing against your consciousness. He was preparing you to receive this very message. Look also at the sudden moments of clarity you experienced. Moments when peace washed over you unexpectedly. Moments when you felt protected even in your loneliness. Moments when you sensed a presence with you during your quiet tears. Michael was near. Angels do not always appear as figures of light. Sometimes they appear as a calm that settles your storm, a thought that saves you from a mistake, a feeling that guides you away from harm. And remember the times when numbers repeated before your eyes. The times you kept seeing the same sequence without knowing why. The time signs, symbols, or phrases kept returning to you as if heaven was echoing the same message again and again. These repetitions were confirmations. These patterns were divine fingerprints. They were heaven saying, "You are not forgotten. You are not alone. Pay attention. My beloved child, even your presence here is a sign. You were drawn to this message not by chance but by orchestration. Something in your soul recognized a voice it has heard before. Something in your spirit said, 'This is the message meant for me.' You were guided, not wandering. You were led, not lost. You were summoned, not scrolling. Archangel Michael does not guide lightly. Every sign he placed before you carried intention. Every tug on your heart carrying meaning. Every disruption in your plans carrying protection. But because the trap ahead of you was growing closer, the signs needed to become louder. And that is why you felt the urgency rise in your spirit in recent days. That is why this message felt impossible to ignore. That is why your angel refused to let you move past this moment. You were meant to hear this now, not yesterday, not tomorrow, but in this divine timing where your heart is ready, your spirit is open, and your path is shifting. My beloved child, heaven has more to show you still. For Michael not only brings signs to guide you forward, but also warnings to keep you from turning backward. Here is something heaven must reveal about the temptation to return to old cycles, old wounds, and old versions of yourself. My beloved child, lean in gently now, for we are approaching a place in this message where heaven speaks with both tenderness and firmness. Archangel Michael has guided you forward, exposed the hidden dangers, revealed the signs you have already been receiving, and now he stands before you with a plea that comes from the deepest chambers of the spiritual realm. It is a plea wrapped not in fear, but in fierce love. For your angel sees something you cannot yet fully see. You are standing at the edge of transformation, and the enemy is trying desperately to pull you backward. Backward into familiar pain. Backward into old habits. Backward into broken cycles. Backward into versions of yourself that no longer fit the person you are becoming. My beloved child, the temptation to return is strongest right before destiny moves forward. The past knows when you are rising. Old emotions sense when healing is near. Familiar patterns begin to whisper when breakthrough is close. Even people who once strained you will suddenly reappear, pulled not by their desire but by spiritual forces that hope to reset your story to an earlier chapter. This is not coincidence. This is not random. This is the enemy's last attempt to reclaim ground that heaven already freed you from. You must understand this clearly. What is behind you cannot bless you in the future. What hurt you before will not heal you now. What slowed you then will only stop you now. Heaven is urging you not to romanticize what once broke you. Pain often looks softer in memory, but its wounds have not changed. Michael stands with his sword drawn, not toward you, but toward the very forces trying to drag your spirit into old prisons. He is fighting not only for your protection, but for your progress. My child, think of the moments in your life where you tried to grow but something pulled you back. Think of the times you found courage, only to second-guess yourself. Think of the relationships that took from you more than they gave. Think of the habits that comforted you but also chained you. Think of the thoughts that whispered defeat even when you were on the edge of victory. These backward pulls were not natural. They were strategic. Darkness does not need to destroy someone who willingly returns to their old cage. But you, beloved, are no longer the person who lived in that cage. You have outgrown the walls that once confined you. Your spirit has stretched beyond the limitations that once defined you. Heaven has awakened something new within you, and when something new awakens, something old must die. And here is the truth, that heaven wants you to grasp deeply. Returning to old patterns delays new blessings. Returning to old relationships delays new alignments. Returning to old fears delays new strength. Returning to old thinking delays new opportunities. This is why your angel is pleading with you. Commanding, not threatening, pleading. Because heaven respects your free will but desperately wants you to choose the path that leads to fruitfulness, clarity, and joy. There is a future version of you waiting on the other side of discipline and discernment. A version of you who does not settle for crumbs. A version of you who is not controlled by fear. A version of you who understands your worth. A version of you who carries authority in your words and peace in your decisions. But you cannot meet that version of yourself if you keep turning back to the chapters heaven is trying to close. My child, hear this with your spirit. The backward pull you feel is not a sign that you belong to your past. It is a sign that your past is losing its grip on you. You are rising, and when a soul rises, resistance rises too. Do not confuse resistance with direction. The fact that you feel tempted to go back is proof that you should not. Michael stands before you now with wings spread wide, saying, "Walk forward. Do not return to what I have delivered you from. Trust the path I am clearing. Your blessing is ahead, not behind." This is a sacred moment, my beloved. Your steps now matter. Your choices carry power. Heaven is aligning things for your good, but heaven cannot force your movement. You must choose forward. My beloved child, come close once more, for now we step into one of the most beautiful revelations heaven has prepared for you. You have walked through warning, through awakening, through introspection, and through the plea not to return to old cycles. And now, as you stand on the edge of obedience, Archangel Michael stretches his hand toward the horizon of your destiny and begins to reveal what waits for you when you choose the path heaven has illuminated. My child, the moment you say yes to divine instruction, the spiritual atmosphere around you begins to shift in ways you may not immediately see, but you will most certainly feel. Obedience is not simply about avoiding danger. It is about activating blessing. Heaven operates on alignment, and when your steps move in the same direction as your divine purpose, everything that has been stored for you begins to fall into place. There is a promise reserved for those who listen, for those who trust, for those who walk forward even when the past tries to whisper seduction into their ear. Heaven has been waiting for this moment in your journey, because you are not just leaving old things behind. You are stepping into a life that is far more expansive, far more peaceful, and far more blessed than what you have known before. My beloved, hear this with your heart. Once you obey, the confusion that has clouded your path will begin to lift. The fog that made your decisions feel heavy will begin to dissolve. Heaven will give you clarity in a way that feels almost supernatural. You will find yourself making choices with confidence instead of worry. You will feel guided instead of lost. You will walk with a sense of purpose that will surprise even you. And as clarity settles, peace will follow. Not the fragile peace that comes and goes with circumstances, but a deep and anchored peace that sits in your chest like a warm light. You will feel heaven's presence in your quiet moments. You will notice that the heaviness that once pressed on your spirit begins to fade. You will wake with a calm strength that carries you through your day. My child, obedience also opens the gates of provision. Opportunities that once felt blocked will begin to move toward you. People who carry blessing, wisdom, and support will cross your path. Delaying breakthroughs will begin to release. What was withheld for your protection will now be released for your elevation. Heaven does not pour blessings into chaos, but once you align your steps, heaven pours freely. There is also a restoration coming to you. Not a partial restoration, but a full one. A restoration of confidence, of joy, of self-worth, of vision. Heaven will return to you the parts of yourself that life tried to steal. You will feel lighter, more whole, more capable, and more aligned with your true identity. You will begin to see yourself the way heaven sees you. Not broken, not lost, not behind, but chosen, guided, and rising. My child, do not underestimate what awaits you. The moment you choose forward movement, divine protection becomes stronger. Divine timing becomes clearer. Divine opportunities become more accessible. Michael himself walks ahead of you, clearing the path, softening the ground, cutting down spiritual resistance, and ensuring that nothing meant for you is stolen again. And perhaps the greatest promise of all is this: your life will finally begin to make sense. The heartbreaks of your past will turn into understanding. The delays will turn into appreciation. The losses will turn into wisdom. Everything that once confused you will become part of a larger tapestry that heaven has been weaving around your journey. You will see why certain things had to end. You will see why certain doors closed. You will see why certain people were removed. And instead of feeling abandoned, you will feel protected. My beloved child, heaven does not simply guide you out of danger. Heaven guides you into destiny. And your destiny is not a distant dream. It is a path already unfolding beneath your feet. Once you obey, you will feel the ground of your life shift beneath you in the direction of growth, healing, strength, and divine purpose. Now, my child, the heavens have one final blessing to impart. The message is not yet complete. Here is a closing, a sealing, a prophetic release that must be spoken over you. My beloved child, come close for this sacred message. Feel the stillness around you now, the gentle quiet in your spirit, the warmth that rises as you listen. This is not the end of a message. It is the sealing of a divine encounter. Heaven stands around you, and Archangel Michael is present, watching, guarding, and preparing to place a final mantle of protection and blessing upon your life. Let your heart be open, for these last words are meant to settle into the deepest place within you. My child, you have journeyed through revelation after revelation. You have walked through the warning, the awakening, the uncovering of the trap, the instruction, the turnaround, the signs, and the plea to move forward. Now heaven extends its hand not to caution you, but to crown you. There is a peace descending on you even now, a peace that whispers, you are safe. You are seen. You are guided. Feel it. Let it rest upon you like soft light. Archangel Michael steps before you with a strength that does not intimidate, but reassures. His wings stretch around your life like a fortress. His sword guards the path before you. His presence becomes a shield at your back. You may not see him, but your spirit recognizes the shift. You may not hear his voice audibly, but you will sense guidance in the choices you make hereafter. You will not walk blind. You will not walk alone. Heaven has made a covenant of protection over your journey. My beloved child, from this moment forward, you are stepping into a season of divine alignment. Heaven will not allow you to wander into confusion the way you once did. The traps that were set for you will crumble before your feet. The doors not meant for you will close with clarity instead of chaos. The voices that once misled you will fade into silence. And the burdens you once carried alone will lift, not because life becomes perfect, but because heaven walks with you. You will feel a new strength inside you, a strength that does not come from forcing but from trusting. You will feel a confidence in your steps, a confidence not rooted in pride but in divine assurance. You will notice opportunities finding you, peace falling on you, and clarity growing within you. What once felt complicated will begin to make sense. What once felt impossible will begin to shift. Heaven is restoring alignment to your spirit, purpose to your path, and light to your future. My child, the angels celebrate when a soul chooses obedience, when a soul chooses to rise, when a soul chooses to walk forward rather than fall back into old wounds. Today, you have chosen forward, and heaven honors that choice. Your next season will be marked not by confusion but by clarity, not by loss but by restoration, not by fear but by divine strength. And now, before this message is sealed, I speak to you as a spiritual father who has walked with you through every part of this journey. Understand this truth. When heaven gives you a message of this depth, it is not meant to be hidden. It is meant to be carried like a torch. There are many souls wandering in darkness, unaware of the traps before them, unaware of the angels beside them, unaware of the light available to them. When you allow this message to reach others, you participate in divine work. You become a vessel through which heaven's light travels to those who are silently crying out for guidance. In your heart, you already know that when something protects you, you should help it protect others. That is the gentle calling heaven places upon you now. My beloved child, take a breath. Feel the weight lifting from your spirit. Feel the peace settling into your bones. Feel the warmth around you that does not come from the room you sit in, but from the presence that surrounds you. This is the final blessing. May Archangel Michael guard your steps. May heaven illuminate your decisions. May peace be your companion. May clarity be your counselor. May strength rise within you like a new dawn. And may every blessing heaven has prepared for you find its way into your hands without delay. Walk forward, my beloved. You are protected. You are guided. You are chosen. And this message has been sealed over your life. Amen.